Hey, you! I need you to hit the subscribe button below.
Chicho, turn that thing up. Shalom, shalom, Israel. Most Christ bless. You're now tuned into the Natives Hour, home of the 10 tribes.
That's
I'm
right.
Captain Gaddy to my right.
Officer Uriel.
All praises to the Most High. We're going to get it in today, y'all. We's going to get it in. So let's jump right into it. What we got? Jump right into it.
Gene, you ready today? Gene, ready. Show going for y'all, man. Are you ready? All right, let's go.
I was adopted by a white missionary couple.
I was adopted.
Immediately placed for adoption.
I was in foster care with one family for 18 years. They were white.
My parents loved us, and I understand that, but at the same time,
They took the idea that they were saving me.
saving us from ourselves.
Being saved, and I should be grateful for the life that I've been given, because any child on the reservation would give anything to live as I was living.
So this is something that is being pushed under the rug. Nobody wants to talk about this. But we talk about people coming up missing, right? Can you look up the origin of Amber Alert, please? Look up the origin of Amber Alerts. Everybody gets an alert on their phone,
Right. Yep.
called Amber Alert, right?
Right.
Let's look that origin of that up. Let's see where that came from.
Yeah, that's
Watch this. I'll tell you, this stuff is crazy. Esau is the devil, man. Let's look that up. The origin of Amber Alert. Go ahead and pull that up. Go ahead.
AMBER stands for America's Missing Broadcast Emergency Response.
America's Missing Broadcast Emergency Response. They turned this little white girl's name
right.
into a what's it called? A acronym. Right? Go ahead. Watch this.
And was created as a legacy to 9-year-old Amber Hagerman.
Amber Hagerman. You know that's a white little girl.
Right.
Amber Hagerman.
Hagerman.
Go ahead.
Who was kidnapped while riding her bicycle in Arlington, Texas.
Texas, home of the white man, right? Read on.
And then brutally murdered.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Jesus. She didn't deserve that. Go ahead.
Other states and communities soon set up their own Amber plans as the idea was adopted across the nation.
So the Amber Alert system comes from this one little 9-year-old white girl that was kidnapped and murdered. Every state in America
adopted
has Amber Alert systems, right?
Yep.
Now go back to the video. I want y'all to see something. I want y'all to see the hypocrisy of this thing. Go back to the video. Go back to the video and run it back. Start it over. What's this?
I was adopted by a white missionary couple.
I was adopted.
Immediately placed for adoption.
I was in foster care with one family for 18 years. They were white.
My parents loved us, and I understand that, but at the same time,
They took the idea that they were saving me.
saving us from ourselves.
Being saved, and I should be grateful for the life that I've been given, because any child on the reservation would give anything to live as I was living.
Stop.
They took.
So what these white people did, they went to the reservations, they went to the so-called Native American tribes and stole the children.
Under the guise of being a superhero.
Right. Oh, you should be happy.
Save you.
I'm going to save you from yourself.
The hell is
They went to these reservations and stole the children for their mothers and their fathers. Go back to the video. Go back to the video. This is Gad, by the way. God calls these brothers and sisters Gad. The so-called Native American Indians are Gad in the Bible, one of the 12 tribes of Israel.
Right.
And God said this was going to happen. Go ahead.
They came marching right in and literally took us and thousands of other children from their home
It's a way to eradicate
So
us.
hold up. They marched in and took them by the thousands. Where's their Blackfoot alert?
Right. Where's their alert?
We got an Amber alert. Where's their small bison alert? Native alert. Where's that at? Give me Deuteronomy 28. Give me Deuteronomy 28 and verse 32.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters.
Hold up. Stay with me, y'all. Come on, man. Read it again.
Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
Thy sons and thy daughters, God said, was going to be given to another people. Read on.
And thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long.
Go ahead.
And there shall be no might in thine hand.
There was no might to get these children back. There was no might to get these children back. You got to understand how Amber father and mother felt.
Right.
When she was kidnapped and murdered. They had so much power.
That they was able to make
They was able to make a national alert based off of this little white girl. We don't have no power. Go ahead.
And I was gonna say that comes to everybody's phone.
Right.
Like everything that you're doing, it interrupts whatever you're doing.
You know, it's crazy.
And you get a message.
And it's hard to stop it. Sometimes
Right.
They just keep going out. Like, goodness gracious.
It don't matter what you're doing.
It don't matter what you're
it's
doing.
It's going to cut you off, and it's going to let you know the little white girl missing.
That's called power. That's called power. These so-called Gad, we ain't got no power.
Right.
To the point where our sons and daughters were taken from our arms, and we could do nothing about it. Nothing at all. But cry. Cry and turn to alcohol.
That's a curse.
Go back to the video.
And to go to a nation's children is one of the sure ways to do that.
The U.S. has a long and brutal legacy of attempting to eradicate Native Americans. For centuries, they colonized Native American lands and murdered their populations. They forced them west and pushed them into small, confined patches of land. But Native Americans resisted. A Board of Indian Commissioners report said, instead of dying out under the light and contact of civilization, the Indian population is steadily increasing. And that was an obstacle to total American expansion. So the U.S. found a new solution to absorb and assimilate them.
So instead of murdering them like we did in the past, now we're going to find a new solution. We're going to absorb and assimilate them.
Yep.
Meaning we're going to adopt them and then force them into assimilation.
Right.
Force them to not speak their language. Yep. Force them to not do their culture. Force them to change their dress code. Force them to do all the things that they were once doing. We have to force them to completely stop.
Right.
That's what it means to absorb and assimilate. So instead of murder them like they did before, murder them by the millions, now we're going to adopt them and force them into assimilation. Right. That's what the white man did. Read. Go ahead. Go back to the video.
Absorb and assimilate them. It all started with an experiment and a man named Richard Henry Pratt.
He had in his charge some prisoners of war, and he taught these men how to speak English, how to read and write, and how to do labor. He dressed them in military uniforms and basically ran an assimilation experiment. And then he took his results to the federal government and said, they're capable of being civilized. So he was able to get this project funded.
In 1879, the government funded Pratt's project, the first ever off-reservation boarding school for Native American children. His motto was to kill the Indian and save the man.
Stop. Kill the Indian and save the man.
Save the man.
Watch this. Let's read some of that. Pause it. Don't play it. I'm gonna read some of that. It says it was at a convention where there was some young Indians from the Carol Island, whatever the place where they know, Carlisle, that's an S in there though. Anyway, the place where they know how to play football. One of them made a little speech. Here it is. An Indian says few words. It has been said the only good Indian is a dead Indian. I say, 2, let us kill the Indian and save the man. Look, watch this. Let us kill the nigger and save the man.
Dang.
Let us kill the nigger.
Dang.
Let us kill the white trash and save the man. Let us kill the off-scourgings of Europe and save the man. The Sushite came and they will come a running. Basically what America is saying, we must get every nation to assimilate into our customs.
Right.
We must get every nation that comes here or that's already here to assimilate into our customs. Give me an Isaiah. Give me that in Isaiah, I think it's chapter 8. Let's see, hold on. Because God says something about if you're going to assimilate, what's going to happen to you. Get Isaiah chapter 8, verse 9.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 8 and verse 9.
Bring it out. Go ahead.
Associate yourselves, O ye people.
Associate means to assimilate. Associate yourselves, O ye people. Go ahead.
And ye shall be broken in pieces.
And God says you're going to be destroyed. You're going to be broken into pieces. Read on.
And give ear, all ye of far countries. Mm-hmm. Gird yourselves.
Gird yourselves.
And ye shall be broken in pieces.
Give me Proverbs 11. Give me Proverbs 11. Anybody that's assimilating to this white man's customs, this white man's ideologies, their holidays, hell days,
right.
God says you're going to be broken into pieces. If you join yourself to their women, you join yourself to their men, God says you're going to be broken into pieces. You're going to be destroyed.
Right.
Read that.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 11 and verse 21.
Bring it out.
Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished.
God says you can assimilate all you want. The wicked shall not be unpunished. Yep. And you're going to be punished with the wicked.
Right.
Your hand joining hand with this man that raped, robbed, and murdered our people by the millions and still doing it today. God says you're going to be destroyed. Read on.
But the seed of the righteous shall be delivered.
But the seed of the righteous shall be delivered. And that's what we're trying to bring forth. The seed of the righteous. Go back to the video.
So, if you don't mind, Cap, I had basically how do they do that today? As far as kill the Indian and save the man, or kill the nigger and save the man. In other words, get Deuteronomy 28 and get verse 41 real quick, because when it comes down to it, their methods are the same, and yet it changes. So that way it's under the guise of them always being the superhero. Read that, Deuteronomy 28, verse 41.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 41.
Bring it out.
Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity.
So we want to fast forward that into today. Like how are we in captivity today? Because every day our children go to school and they are forced to pledge the allegiance to this country, to the United States. So it's a mental captivity. Now you're pledging your allegiance to this place, and you get older, you go to school, and you become a doctor or whatever in order to uphold their economy, uphold their livelihood of how they run this place. We're mentally enslaved as a people.
Remember, it said that they don't kill the Indian no more.
Right.
Now they absorb them and
assimilate them. Yep.
They absorb them and assimilate.
Yep.
So one thing we got to realize that we are assimilated into this white man's customs.
Yep.
Like you said, even with the school system, if you want to make it, you have to assimilate. Exactly. You have to assimilate to a point. Now, if you repent, you keep God's commandments, you're going to learn how to be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove, to assimilate on the what is it called? To look like you have assimilated, just so that you can make it to uplift your people.
Yep.
But the majority of our people have assimilated, and they don't even realize that they are actually imitating their oppressor.
Right. And
to the
envy
T.
them. Yep.
Envy the
Envy them
oppressor.
all to the max. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Cap.
Go back to the video.
What started there at the Carlisle Indian Industrial School was nothing short of genocide, disguised as American education. Children were forcibly taken from reservations and placed into the school, hundreds, even thousands of miles away from their families. They were stripped of their traditional clothing. Their hair was cut short.
I want you to go back. I want you to go back to... No. Relax. Let's play. Go the picture of the Gadite brother. Just pause it.
From reservations and placed into the school, hundreds, even thousands of miles away from their families. They were stripped.
Now y'all can see the Gadite brother. He got the feather headband. He got the long hair. He got the customs of what he was taught by his father and his mother.
Right.
Now watch what this white man does. I want y'all to see how they made Gad assimilate and how they look to how they make you look on your job.
Right. Yep.
And you tell me you ain't assimilated. Go ahead and press play.
Of their traditional clothing.
Stop. And you tell me you ain't assimilated. Don't we gotta look just like that?
Yep.
We gotta have a shaved face. We gotta have a cut hair. We gotta have a white man's hairdo.
Yep. They make you look like a boy.
Yeah, they make you like a little boy. You know why? Because you look less harmful.
Right.
You look less aggressive.
Harmless.
You look less You look harmless.
Oh, man,
like a little puppy dog.
He ain't gonna do nothing.
Go ahead and press play.
It's mental warfare.
That's a cold.
Their hair was cut short. They were given new names and forbidden from speaking their native languages.
To take our children and to indoctrinate them into Western society, to take away their identity as indigenous peoples, their tribal identity. I think it's one of the most effective and insidious ways that the U.S. did do harm to indigenous peoples here, because it targeted our children, our most vulnerable. And they tried to make us ashamed for being Indian, and they tried to make us something other than Indian.
There are also accounts of mental, physical, and sexual abuse, of forced manual labor, neglect, starvation, and death.
My great-grandfather went to Carlisle, and nobody in my family ever talked about it. So if you Google Indian boarding schools, the majority of the pictures that you will see will be actually from Carlisle. Colonel Pratt created propaganda. He hired a photographer to create those before and after photos.
Stop. Pause it right there. Do y'all see anything? What do y'all see on this picture right here? On the left, the brother is very dark. Very dark skinned. On the right, they lighten up his picture.
Right.
Say what? They made it seem like if you want to be like us, you got to lighten your skin color.
Right.
The brother's black on the left picture.
Look.
The brother's black. Black is dark night.
Look at this. Somebody come look at this.
But look at the brother on the right.
Right, yeah.
Somebody come
it's the same person.
Whitewashed.
Whitewashed their pictures.
That's crazy.
That's some crazy stuff.
Yeah,
man.
that's
Come
crazy.
on now, dog.
And they did the same thing to the prophets. Where's that? Get that in Maccabees.
That's crazy.
They did the same thing to the prophets, man. Got it? Yeah, second Maccabee.
First Maccabees 4 and 48.
Read that.
No, 348. Sorry, 348.
All right, come on, read it.
Book of First Maccabees, chapter 3 and verse 48.
Read it out.
And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen.
The heathen is the white man. Read.
Had sought to paint the likeness of their images.
They did the same thing to our forefathers. They did it to Christ.
Right.
They paint Christ as white.
Yep.
When the Bible says he's a black man. They paint Moses as white. When the Bible says Moses was a black man, Paul was a black man, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, all the prophets in the Bible were black. All the angels were black. God is black. Right. But what do? They paint him as white in their books. You can't even find a Bible, a modern day Bible with black images in it. You can find white images in it though. That's what they
Smoke
do.
crack, don't you?
Read it again.
You smoke crack, don't you?
The book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 3 and verse 48.
Just stop. Just stop. Stop. That wouldn't even. They ain't even go with what we're talking about. Go ahead.
The book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 3 and verse 48.
Go ahead.
And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images.
Where the heathen sought to paint the likeness of their images. Go to Job 9. Go to Job 9 and 24.
So I went through and whitewashed the world.
Whitewashed the whole world, bro. Even the Egyptians are white.
Right.
The Chinese, the ancient Chinese people are white.
Man. How you gonna be the villain, the hero, the oppressed, and the oppressor?
And the oppressor, all in one.
That don't make no sense. Like the hell?
Everybody's white. And Esau's like, everybody that accomplished something great, white. You see, they ain't put Shaka Zulu as white.
Right. For real.
Y'all ain't probably know what I'm talking about, Shaka Zulu. Y'all probably never seen the movie Shaka Zulu. Go ahead.
The book of Job, chapter 9 and verse 24.
Hey, so bring it out.
Go ahead.
The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
God says the earth belongs to the wicked one. The so-called white man runs the earth. You better believe it. Read.
He covereth the faces of the judges thereof.
He covereth the true faces of what the judges look like. God says they're black.
Right.
But what did this wicked man do? He paints them white. Whitewashes them to look like him. Like he's the God. He's the superhero. All the villains are black. You know, I was watching Lord of the Rings. I was watching Lord of the Rings, right? You know there's no black people in Lord of the Rings?
Oh, yeah.
But there are black people. All the black people are the orcs.
Oh, yeah. Dang, that's crazy.
All the white people are the wizards, the dwarves, the wizards, the elves, the hobbits. They're all the saviors. Even in the armies, all of the armies that fight, they're all white. And all the orcs, they're all black.
That's crazy.
What the hell is this? I'm like, damn. Even the what do they call them? The huh? What do they call the ones that ride the horses to come get the ring? The wraiths or something like that? I don't know. Yeah, they're all dressed in what? Black.
Right. And they're the villains. I ain't see that movie in years.
Yeah.
I'm finna rewatch.
I was watching the other day.
I'm finna rewatch.
I'm like, man, this is crazy.
That's crazy.
Everybody in the movie is white except the orcs. The orcs are black. All the evil, black.
And who was the guy, the real tall one that had the villain, the one that made the ring? Yeah, he was black. He was black. Dude was black, and he was the enemy.
He was dressed in black.
Right, he was dressed in black.
But it was actually white people, but when they became evil, they all became black.
Yeah, bro, that's crazy.
Go to Exodus 21 and 16.
That's crazy. I'm good. I ain't seen that movie
man,
in years, man.
I said, dang, man, that's crazy. Man. Exodus 21:16.
The book of Exodus, chapter 21 and verse 16.
Bring it out.
And he that stealeth a man.
He that stealeth a man.
And selleth him.
And selleth him.
Or if he be found in his hands.
Go ahead.
He shall surely be put to death.
God says, he that stealeth the man and selleth him, or he be found in his hand. Till this day, the blacks and Hispanics and the American Indians are still in the hand of their oppressor.
That's a
still in the hand
precept.
of their enemy. God says, when I come back and they still found in your hand,
right?
I'm going to destroy everybody.
That's it.
For my children. You stole my children, I'm getting them back. And by that, I mean I'm going to kill. That's what the Bible says. We got to believe that thing. Go back to the video. So y'all can see the brother on the left. They're like panicked. I can see the brother. They like panicked. I can see the brother on the left. The brother is dark. That same brother on the right is now light-skinned. Ain't no coincidence, man. They lighten him up. Lighten him up to make people think that Native Americans should look like that.
$5 Indians.
$5, right. Go ahead.
It was working. So it was, intentional propaganda.
And it worked. The Carlisle model of education swept the country, and led to the creation of over 350 boarding schools to assimilate Native American children.
On the one hand, we have the Navajo as we find him in the desert. Few of these boys and girls have ever seen a white man. Yet, through the agencies of the government, they are being rapidly brought from their state of comparative savagery and barbarism.
Stop. Savagery and barbarism. Damn.
What the hell is this? They was doing just fine before y'all got there.
Hey, this how you know. Hey, this how you know.
That's crazy.
This white man is Esau. Give me Obadiah. What says the pride of thy heart? This how you know this white man is Esau. The northern nation does that.
Right.
Northern nation does that. Watch this.
It's not until we got here.
Right. But they was living. Gad was living here for thousands of years
before y'all came.
Thousands, even during the time of King Solomon.
Right.
It was over here. Where we had kingdoms, civilizations. I was watching a documentary the other night on Issachar. Issachar, they said Issachar had the greatest civilization known to man on this side of the world. So it was the greatest one. The Aztec, it was the greatest one known in civilization known on this side of the world. They built pyramids. They built cities. They built streets. They built what they call palaces. They had structure. They had plumbing. They had what's the other one? Agriculture. They had everything.
How about they were savages?
Yeah, but they were savages though. Go ahead.
The book of Obadiah, verse 3.
Bring it out. Start verse 1.
Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 1. The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord God, concerning Edom.
Concerning Esau.
We have heard a rumor from the
verse
Lord.
3 now. Concerning Esau. This is concerning Esau. The white man is Esau. Read.
Verse 3. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee.
God says your pride hath deceived you. This man is so prideful. He can come to a civilization that has been living and prospering. Yeah, they had war, what's it called? Internal issues.
Conflicts, yep.
Yeah, they had internal conflicts. But on the mainstream, they were great civilizations.
They was thriving.
They were thriving. Esau is so prideful. They come over here and says, "Oh, because you're not doing it my way, you're a savage. Because you're not doing it my way, you're a barbarian."
Because you ain't got a pistol or a gun when you click and it blows up. They savages,
right? Because you ain't got a short haircut. Because
Clear
you wear
skin.
fringes.
Right.
Because you're not white skinned, you're a barbarian now. You're a savage.
The hell is this?
But y'all brought the smallpox,
the disease.
Y'all brought the diseases.
The lice,
but we savages.
Right.
Go ahead.
He's all crazy, man.
Go back to the video.
Funny as hell.
To one of civilization.
In 1900, there were about 20,000 Native American children in these schools. By 1925, that number more than tripled. Families that refused to send...
It says by 1925, that number went from 20,000 to 60,000 Native American children in boarding schools. I'm telling you, man, it was a campaign to destroy Gad. It was a campaign to destroy the Native American Indians who God calls Gad. Go ahead.
Their kids to these schools faced consequences like incarceration at Alcatraz or the withholding of food rations.
Stop.
Some parent.
They said if you didn't send your child to these boarding schools, you went to prison.
Yep.
You went to Alcatraz.
One of the worst prisons.
That's a prison on a small island.
Right. No escape.
No escape.
No hope for escape either.
Nothing. You went to prison if you didn't send your kids to these white assimilation schools.
Hey, Kat, can I get a script real quick?
Let
me get Micah chapter 2 real quick. Get Micah chapter 2 because exactly what is going on is what's happening right here. Go ahead and read Micah chapter 2 and 1.
The book of Micah, chapter 2 and verse 1.
Bring it out.
Woe to them that devise iniquity.
Read on.
And work evil upon their beds.
Read.
When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand.
So the white man devised this iniquity against Gad. They devised this iniquity and they had the power to do it. They had the power to execute the boarding schools. They had the power to execute the whitewashing and taking pictures and changing the images and things like that. They had the power to do it. It was iniquity that was devised by them. Read on. Verse 2.
Verse 2. And they covet fields.
They covered fields.
And take them by violence.
Because none of this belonged to them. And they took it by violence. They took it by committing a genocide. Read on.
And houses, and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage.
Even a man and his heritage. So what you thought you was doing right, they even oppressed that. They even oppressed that.
Right. You can't wear no fringes no more.
Right.
You can't wear the feather headbands no more. But watch this, though. You know what they did? They turned it into humor. Because now people dress up as Indians for Halloween. They dress up as Indians, so-called Indians for football games.
Right.
They dress up as Indians for mascots. So that was okay to do.
Right.
It's okay to use our custom as your
mockery.
humor.
Right.
But we could not do it ourselves to honor our heritage. We can only do it as a humor to you white folks.
That's heavy.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah, man.
You done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Go back to the video. We almost done with this
crazy.
video. Go back to the video.
Who did lose their children to these schools even camped outside to be close to them. Many students ran away. Some found ways to hold on to their languages and cultures. Others, though, could no longer communicate.
Go back. Y'all see what I see?
Hold on to their languages and culture.
Pause.
Right there.
Come on. You gotta be on point. Go. Second. Come on. You gotta be real.
Hold on to their languages.
Don't y'all see black folks with Gad in that picture? Them look like Negroes to me.
Right.
Them look like Negroes to me.
Look.
Wait a minute. Why is Negroes?
Somebody come look at this.
Why is so-called Negroes in what they call Native American boarding schools?
Right.
Damn! That's something to think about.
Mm-hmm.
That is something to think about. See, that's what they don't tell you. They won't tell you that Gad looked just like Judah. They won't tell you that.
Dang.
They won't tell you that. A lot of Gad look just like Judah. I mean, a lot of Native Americans look like they were African Americans.
Right.
And you know what they did? They labeled them African Americans.
Right. If you didn't have the features that they wanted you to
I'm gonna
have.
do a class on that. I did one. I did one about 2 years ago.
That's heavy.
If a Native American had Negroid features, you had a wide nose, big lips, you know what I'm talking about?
Right.
Negroid features, they labeled you
to the
African American, even though you were Native American. On your birth certificate, you were labeled Negro. Therefore, you could not get any land. You could not get any money. And a lot of so-called African Americans today walking around saying they African American, they actually Native American.
That's that evil that they devised, man. That's crazy. That's crazy.
That's just something to think about.
Crazy.
A lot of y'all think y'all Judah, y'all actually Gad. Just something to think about. Go back. Go back to the video.
And cultures. Others, though, could no longer communicate with family members.
They got
And
them
some
saying
never
an Indian byword song.
Right.
1 little, 2 little, 3 little Indian, 4 little, 5 little. You know how demeaning that is?
Right.
Then they said they changed their language so the children couldn't even communicate with their parents anymore.
Right. Yep.
They disconnected the two. Therefore, they could never go back to what they originally was.
Right.
Because who would teach them who they originally was? Their parents.
Yep.
Well, how should they learn from their parents if they can't communicate with them no more?
They got oppressing their heritage, changing the languages and all. It's all the devil, man.
Turned home at all. By stripping the children of their Native American identities, the U.S. government had found a way to disconnect them from their lands, and that was part of the U.S. strategy. During the same era in which thousands of children were sent away to boarding schools, a number of U.S. policies infringed on their tribal lands back home. In less than 5 decades, 2/3 of Native American lands had been taken away.
Stop. 5 decades, 2/3 of Gad land was taken from. Don't you understand that? Now, it's like you just said, that was a lot of Gad in that picture.
Right.
See, we were told that though that Gad is no longer around, that the tribes have died off.
Right.
That's bullcrap. The so-called Native American Indians is the same amount they were back then that they are today.
Right.
They just don't know their Gad.
Yep.
It's the same amount. And the Lord says there's no end to the people.
Right.
And there's a thing as killing a tribe off. Yeah,
Right.
you killed them off. What's it called? Spiritually, you killed them off, but they still here.
Right.
They still here. Spiritually, meaning mentally,
right.
You have destroyed them, but they're still here. I don't think they white, Caucasian.
Right.
I don't think they what's the other one? Asian.
Right. I was just gonna say, yeah, and that's exactly what you were saying. Because when it comes to them coveting their lands and coveting their fields, that's how they did it, by cutting off the language, not being able to speak your own language anymore, and not therefore the person who was teaching you and who could teach you, y'all can no longer communicate. So now you losing your land.
Right. Hey, go to the next video. Watch this, y'all. Women said, "Well, that was back then." What?
I wanna. They really, Esau really got to be wicked. But for them to actually sit there and think of that type of plan, for long term, it ain't
long term.
That's a long term.
They did
plan.
that for today,
right? That's
and
crazy.
they know eventually Israel was going to wake up, like the prophecy says. Judah was going to rise first to go out and teach their people.
Right.
They just try to make it hard for us to teach. That's what they did. They tried to prolong their kingdom by destroying the minds of the Israelites. That's all they did. And they actually thought they accomplished, but little do they know there is a God.
Right.
There is a
That's
God.
right.
Go to the whatever we got next. Watch this, y'all, because we think, well, today they're not doing that today. Watch this. Go ahead.
South Carolina man wins custody of his daughter after she was adopted without his permission.
This brother's daughter, this is a brother, by the way, Judah. His daughter is a mixed race. Watch who he slept with to have his daughter. His daughter was adopted without his permission. Press play. Watch this, y'all.
It's time for the ultimate Sleep Number event on the
Watch
Sleep Number 360
this. That's some
Smart Bed.
crazy stuff, man. That's some evil stuff. I can't even imagine that.
Right.
Your daughter
being
adopted without your permission.
without you even knowing.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But he
man.
he figured it out, though. Go ahead.
Well, for many people, February is the month of love. It's a time we bring out the cards, candy, and make dinner reservations. For others, it's a moment to simply be grateful for the people in our lives. But sometimes the love we never knew can bring us the greatest joy. I talked with the father who went to great lengths for the love of his family.
I didn't know if she was safe. I didn't know if I would ever see her again.
Christopher Emmanuel is talking about his daughter, Skylar.
You know, I always said I wanted to be a great dad.
But his dreams of being a dad turned into a nightmare after his girlfriend placed their newborn daughter up for adoption without telling him.
I was lost, man. I was hurt. I was confused because I wanted to ensure that I could be there for my child.
Christopher fought back, returning to the court system in Aiken County where Skylar was born.
This is my opportunity to prove that, and I was deprived of that. You know, my Constitution and my state rights were violated.
Under South Carolina law, unwed fathers can sign up on the Responsible Fatherhood Registry. It's an online database through DSS that lets the state
Unwed
know that
fathers mean you not married.
Right.
That's why God says, man, give me that marriage is honorable real quick. That's why God says marriage is honorable. Because now you got to sign a petition as an unwed father to get your daughter. Read that.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 13 and verse 4.
Read it out.
Marriage is honorable.
God says marriage is honorable. Read.
In all.
In all. Watch this.
And the bed undefiled.
Read.
But whoremongers
and
adulterers, God will judge.
God is about marriage. God is about marriage. Now, I know this brother had a biracial daughter, but at the end of the day, he was not married. That's why he had to go through this. That's why he had to go through this. His baby mama, he don't even call her baby mama. Watch what he calls the baby mama. It's so funny. put their daughter up for adoption as soon as she was born and didn't even tell him. Didn't even tell him.
Crazy.
He had to find out, and then he had to fight, I think, 2 years.
Yeah, he had to fight some time
to get his daughter out of adoption. And I want to jump the gun. I want to jump the gun.
He went through some lengths.
He went through some. And then the adoptive parents. Oh, watch this. Go ahead, play it.
The child. Pat Littlejohn is the president of the advocacy group South Carolina Center for Fathers and Families.
Before rights are terminated to allow an adoption to occur, attorneys as well as the Department of Social Services will check this registry. And if his name is on there, he must be notified.
Christopher
So stop. He had to register because he felt like she was going to do some evil stuff.
Right.
So he did all of this before in preparation.
Yep.
And good thing he did, because once the baby was put for adoption, they had to notify him.
Right.
If he wouldn't have put his name on his registry,
He would have never knew.
he would have never knew.
That's
He would have never knew, man, that his daughter was put up for adoption. Go ahead. This is crazy. Go ahead.
Adding the name of Skylar's mother, making it mandatory that he would be notified if she put the child up for adoption. And that's exactly what she did. Court documents show that Christopher added his name on the registry on February 4th. However, the adopted parents filed the motions on February 19th to adopt Skylar. Christopher was not added on that documentation as the biological father, even though he was listed as such on the registry.
So he put his name like, yeah, this is my daughter.
Right.
But the parents, when they went to adopt the little girl, his name wasn't on her registry as the father.
Dang.
Watch this. Go ahead. Watch how evil this stuff gets. Go.
South Carolina law, someone living in another state can adopt a baby born here only under unusual or exceptional circumstances.
Pause it. This is the only. Hold on. Go back. Go back. Okay, play it. Watch this.
On the registry. But under South Carolina law, someone living in another state can adopt a baby born here only under unusual or exceptional circumstances.
So these adoptive parents from another state.
Right.
The only way an adoptive parent from another state can adopt children in South Carolina, look at B. Children of mixed racial heritage.
Dang.
Children with physical, mental, emotional disabilities. God said, I mean, not this white man's lingo says the only way you can take this baby out of state to be adopted mainly is B.
Right.
Mixed racial heritage. That lets you know in South Carolina, a mixed baby will never get adopted. A white family would never adopt a mixed baby in South Carolina. And let you know just how racist it is down there. But go ahead, keep going.
Circumstances. Under the South Carolina Children's Code, a biracial child like Skylar fell under that category. Therefore, the adoption in part was able to go forward.
My daughter was in San Diego, California with a prospective adoptive.
Said from South Carolina to San Diego, California.
Dang.
This is the other side of America.
Right.
From the East Coast to the other West Coast.
Right.
That they took this man's daughter. Took this man's daughter, man, of the other side of the doggone United States. Go ahead. What you got?
I was saying, try to adopt her under what y'all wanted.
And they did adopt her.
Right.
Watch this, because it gets worse.
That's right.
It gets worse. They did adopt her. Go ahead.
Couples where her name was changed, where I have medical documentation calling my daughter another name, but she was never legally adopted.
Christopher kept the faith and contested the adoption. Court records showed that his paternal rights were terminated without his permission. At one point, he and his lawyers were willing to adopt his own daughter back.
Stop.
Man, he had to go through all of that just to get it back.
It says his paternal documents were voided.
Right, his paternal rights.
His paternal rights. That means that somebody in the system, because he didn't do it.
Right.
Somebody in the system, terminated his fatherly rights.
What?
That means the DNA didn't mean nothing.
Right.
That nigga's tripping.
That means him putting his name on the documents as a father when she was born didn't mean nothing. His rights were terminated as a father. Don't that sound familiar? Don't that sound familiar that people can take your kids and terminate your rights?
You can't do
And you can't do a damn thing?
Right.
Don't that sound familiar? By the same people. Watch this. Go ahead.
After almost a year, a judge sided with him. Baby Skylar was sent back to South Carolina, and the courts granted Christopher sole custody of his daughter.
After a year, you know how much money he spent?
Right.
You know how much money he had to spend in that year?
Time, stuff he can't get back.
He spent a year fighting to get his daughter back.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Aiken County Judicial Center. This is where it went down at, man. But when I'm here, being in this space, it fills me with joy. I feel safe because Aiken County brought my daughter home where she belongs.
Well, as it relates to the adoption code, I spoke with State Senator
Go to the
Katrina
next
Sheehan.
article. Go to the next article. Father's fight to win back his daughter.
Oh, man. That's crazy.
Video.
That thing happened like that, man, and you gotta, dude, I don't know what been going on through that brother mine, man.
Remember they changed her name.
Yeah,
Everything.
man.
Wait, pull it. No. Father's fight to win back his daughter secretly put up for adoption. Go. Wait.
A father's fight to win back his daughter secretly put up for adoption. A messenger told Chris Emanuel his baby girl had been given away. Skylar is a rambunctious toddler who runs and plays and giggles with her father, Chris Emanuel. But she has no idea she sat at the heart of a massive custody battle, far-reaching implications for her father's rights. Emanuel, a 25-year-old Aiken, South Carolina, met Skylar's mother, whom he now refers to as simply the egg donor.
The what?
The egg donor.
I tell you, he called his baby mama the egg donor.
For real, man.
You know how women call men, you just a sperm donor.
Right.
Well, you just an egg donor. Hey, go down.
Give my baby up for adoption.
Hold up. Okay, go in the beginning.
In the beginning, Emanuel said they texted all the time, and their affectionate messages soon turned into flirtations. 3 months later, Emanuel was overjoyed.
3 months later. 3 months. It only took him 3 months to get it in.
Dang.
Go ahead.
3 months later, Emanuel was overjoyed to learn he was going to be a dad. I was happy. Who wouldn't be happy? Emanuel said. It was my first child, and at the time, you know, I'm going to be there. We're going to do everything we got to do. Emanuel said he and Skylar's mother talked about getting married. Throughout the mother's pregnancy, Emanuel said he was deeply involved, expectant father.
He was a deeply involved, expectant father. I mean, he was there every day.
Yep.
Watch this.
Appointments and all.
Right. Go ahead. Watch this.
It was in my heart that despite anything, I'm going to be there. I'm going to do what I got to do, he said. After a long-awaited meeting between both of their families, Emanuel said he knew in no uncertain terms that her parents were dead set against him and even accused the family of racism.
Uh-oh. You already know that tell you something right there. This egg donor was a white woman. You already know.
Right.
Bring it out.
In South Carolina,
Right.
she was a white woman. Go on.
Like hearing racism, but actually feeling it. It's totally different.
He said he felt the racism.
Damn.
He didn't just hear it. He felt it. Keep going.
It's like being punched in the stomach, he said. The crazy thing about it was, when we left, she reassured me that we would continue to raise our child together. The woman's mother said Emanuel is a liar and that he disapproved of their relationship.
That she disapproved.
And that she disapproved of their relationship. Not because of the color of his skin.
It's not because he's black.
Right.
Go ahead.
But because he didn't have a job.
Because he didn't have a job. When you read up, it says he and the baby mama worked together at the same job.
Right.
But now it's like
there is powerful niggardry at work here.
It's not because he's black. It's because he don't have a job. Go back.
That's crazy.
Emanuel said he and his girlfriend continued to be in contact, talking and texting frequently. Texts often ended with "moi, kiss." But Emanuel said his girlfriend started to avoid meeting in person and asked him to skip doctor's appointments.
So the mother told him, hey, stop going to the doctor's appointment.
You know what that mean? That mean that the parents, she had her parents coming to the appointment and she's lying about him.
Of course. Go ahead.
She was saying her mom was coming and I didn't need to come.
See, there you go.
There you go.
Go ahead.
He said. And I was like, dang, why can't I come to the doctor's appointment?
Because you're black.
If I can't come to the doctor's appointment, can I even think about being there to witness my child's birth?
Hell no.
So you got to understand, they already had a plan to give this baby up for adoption. They already said, because this is a mixed baby, you're going to shame the name. You're going to shame your father. You're going to shame your mother. Your family going to be a disgrace. Give this baby up for adoption. Give it away. And not only give it away, but send it so far away that you will never have to remember the baby.
Dang.
Send it so far away to the other side of the country to where you can be, you can forget the baby.
It's crazy.
That's some crazy stuff, man. And this brother had to fight to get his baby back from the system that has always been about kidnapping Israelite children.
Right.
This system always been about kidnapping. That's why we say, oh, all these black sisters being kidnapped. Who you think responsible for that?
Yep.
Look at the history of kidnappings. It's always been the government.
Right.
It's always been the system. Always been the system. Kidnap so-called African American women, kidnap Hispanic women, kidnap Native American women. Watch this. Go to the next one real quick. Real quick. Go to the next article. We'll go to it. Let's go. It's going to be real quick. Watch this. It's always been about, this country has always been in the midst of people going missing. Always. Go ahead.
And friends, along with search and rescue teams, have been looking for Selena Not Afraid in about a 3 to 5 mile radius.
Selena Not Afraid was last seen around 2 o'clock on Wednesday at the eastbound I-90 rest area between Billings and Hardin.
Searchers have been looking for Not Afraid since New Year's Day, when she was last. Radio check. Radio check.
Selena Not Afraid disappeared from a rest stop on New Year's Day in Montana's Bighorn County.
It's getting really cold. I want her home.
9 days later, and community-led search teams were still looking for the first clue that might lead them to her.
So we know our mission for today. We're looking for any sign of Selena, anything out of the ordinary. You know the drill. You guys been doing it, so.
This is Beartooth.
Beartooth.
Yeah.
How are you, buddy? We'll find our girl.
Okay.
Selena Not Afraid's case is an example of what Native women face. They are almost 3 times more likely to experience sexual violence compared to white women. And homicide is the 4th leading cause of death for those under 20. And the problems often continue even after death. According to a 2019 report, approximately half of all cases involving murdered Indigenous women in Montana have been misclassified for causes like suicide, overdose, or exposure.
Stop. Who you think is classifying our sisters? They said it's been misclassified. They go missing, and then they label them overdose.
Right.
They label them murder. They label them runaways. They label them suicide. But they never find the bodies.
Right.
They misclassify them. They let you know the numbers that they have now of Gad being missing is actually bigger than what it is.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Bugsy, Teddy and his wife and their baby Little Light, Mikey Plainbowl, Garrett, our current active search right now, Hub Williamson, Bonnie 3 Irons, 2017, we recovered her. The next one was Henny Scott. Last year we recovered her. Cassara stops at Pretty Places. She was found, I believe, by a deputy in town in somebody's yard. And now our recent active search is Selena. In all the previous cases that I've been involved with, where the situation is like this here, it's always been a recovery. It's never been a happy ending.
Recovery means dead. That's what it means recovery means. That means we have found the body. Remember, he said the last sister, Selena, stops at Pretty Places. What the hell kind of name is that? But anyway, They recovered her body in somebody's yard. Her dead body in somebody's yard. And I guarantee they labeled it overdose, suicide, what is it? What was the other one?
No, suicide, runaway.
Runaway. All this stuff is crazy, man. All this stuff is going on in the back door of America. All of it is going on behind the scenes of America.
Yep.
You think America don't know this stuff is going on? You think this stuff, they don't know what's happening? They know what's happening. They turn a blind eye to it. Why these places ain't being taken over by the FBI or the National Guard to see what the hell is going on? How come no president puts it in their policy to change this? Damn. But we vote for them every year. No president puts it in their policy to say, I don't care what happens, we are going to stop the rape, murder, and what's the word? Pillage of the so-called Native American Indians.
I mean, they so-called had it in the clause of the treaty that they broke.
That was hundreds of years ago. They don't care about that. Right. They have. I'm gonna tell you, they have gotten the. They have gotten the world to forget about those treaties.
Right.
By giving them casinos, and then people don't understand they got to pay taxes to the white man on those casinos.
I hate it here.
Made it seem like they ain't got to pay no taxes.
Right.
That's what they tell everybody.
No, they pay taxes.
Natives don't pay taxes. Nah.
Look it up. Because I did a class. I looked it up myself.
Right.
I did a class on it. They pay taxes. You best believe it. White men are giving nothing free.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.